I'm gonna teach you how to survive. I've got some tips for you, cause nobody has better tips than me. So yeah. The rule of 3, because you can go 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 minutes without warmth or shelter in cold circumstances, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. That's basically your body's terms of service, so you gotta respect it. Clear water is absolutely not always clean water, so always filter it, boil it. Don't just drink out of a river that has a nice aesthetic, because you will find out that is not really that good of an idea. If you are really thirsty and you don't have water but you do have food, you do not eat that food, okay? It's only gonna make you more and more thirsty, and you can go 3 weeks without food and only 3 without water. In this situation, you should also breathe via your nose, because via your mouth you lose a lot of humidity. And while you're at it, don't drink your own urine. I know it might sound like a good idea, but you're basically drinking your own waste, which is absolutely horrible for your health and does not hydrate. So don't do that. If you're stuck somewhere like, I don't know, Antarctica, you do not eat snow unless you're absolutely starving of hydration, because snow is really cold. It's basically like drinking really cold water, and that costs a lot of energy, but like an insane amount of energy. It is absolutely not worth it. So only drink or only eat snow if it's really necessary. If you fall into an ice hole, how do you get out? You think to just do this, Absolutely not. You would just break the other ice. That is a horrible idea. Instead, you just sort of should get onto the ice like walrus. I know it looks dumb, but you know what also looks dumb? Fucking drown in. Now you're out, you should roll towards thicker parts of ice, and from there you can crawl, but you do not stand up like, damn, that was crazy. Because the ice might break again, and that would be suboptimal. Now we're on solid ground again. You get your wet clothes off, because they are absolutely freezing, and it will just undercool you. Then you should dry yourself. I don't care what you use. If you use a scarf, a jacket, someone's dog, I don't care. But you need to get that cold water off your skin. You could even try and get the water out of the clothes you already wore and dry yourself with that in worst case. This is where most mistakes are made. You should warm the core, yeah? This part of your body. Not your hands, not anything else, your core. Because that's like the key part of your body to keep functioning. And don't think, oh, I'm kind of sleepy, I'm gonna go to sleep. No. No. Because you will stop breathing, which is not what we want. Finally, move around a little bit. Not too much, but just gently walk and try and get somewhere safe inside. Try and get yourself warm via something. Not via hot stuff. Don't just pour warm water over yourself. That's not gonna end well. A pretty well-known thing is that you should not stand under a big tree when there's lightning, unless you personally want to meet Zeus. But a nice tip is every 3 seconds after the flash that you hear sounds is 1 kilometer, and you should try and stay away from lightning at least 3 kilometers. So do with that what you want. If you're ever stuck in a rip current, you do not swim against it. You are not in a Baywatch audition, you absolute imbecile. Instead, you should just let the current take you, and then when it's weak enough, you should just swim to the side and you can get safely towards the beach. You don't want to know how many people die because they just try and swim against it and they just drown. You know what also looks dumb? If you ever feel like you're being followed, just casually turn around like you forgot your wallet or something. And if they follow you, you should look for a big crowded place. You should absolutely not go to a quiet place to check if they're following you, because you are not Batman and they will do things to you that you don't like. If there's ever a national emergency called, like a nuclear thing or something, you should immediately fill your bathtub full of water. It's an incredibly large supply of drinking water that you can use for a very long time. I know it's not the nicest thing, not the tastiest water you've ever had, but you've at least got water, good drinking water, and you kinda need that. If you're ever lost in the mountains and you find a river, just follow the river down, because a river means people, roads, and civilization, which means food and drinks, which is what you need. Just a general important tip is stay calm, because if you're gonna panic, it's only gonna get worse and worse, and your chances of surviving are not going up anyway. So just stay calm and try and think clearly. If someone ever tells you to get into a van with a gun to your head, you do not go. Your chances of getting back are so incredibly slim. It is just a horrible idea. You should just create as much chaos as possible. You know, make sure that they don't even know what the hell is going on. And then when you run away, you should make eye contact, because research has shown that you create empathy, or I don't know. I don't really know what the reason is, but your chance of surviving when making eye contact with the gunman is higher, so you should do that. But if for whatever reason you actually do end up in that van, you should again create as much chaos as possible and leave as much DNA behind as possible. So just stuff around everywhere and like scratch them for DNA behind your nails, and for just take a wee. Just do it. It leaves behind DNA. If you're planning on having a fight, there is 3 places you should hit someone. First are their knees, because that helps pretty good with running away from them if they can't walk. Second place is the Adam's apple, because they will most likely just fall to the ground immediately. And my personal favorite that I would probably do is just drop kick them into the balls. If you ever feel like your house is cursed, you know, inexplicable things happen, you should check your carbon monoxide detector. Because there's a certain level of monoxide where you just get into a tripping zone. Like most of the time you will die, and don't even try to get into the tripping zone because it's really bad for your health. Don't do it. If you're ever stuck in an avalanche, just do a quick duff. Not like you did when you got kidnapped, but when you're stuck in the snow, you tend to mix up what is up and what is down, so you usually want to go up. And the same for water. And when you're like really deep down underwater and you don't know what is up or down, just breathe out and you just follow the bubbles, because the bubbles usually go up. If your car ever gets into the water, stay calm. You have more time than you think. First step, if you have time, you wanna turn on your car lights, because that makes it easier to find back your car. Secondly, unloosen your seatbelt, because people actually forget that in the pure mode of panic. And you should just let the car fill up, and when it's fully filled up, you can open the door. Nice and easy. And if you actually want to use that hammer, you should hit the corners of the window, not the center, because the corners are weaker, so you can easily break that. If you ever get stabbed, leave the knife in there. I'd say it's just a free knife, you get something nice after this lovely interaction, but when you take out the knife you will probably bleed to your death, which is again not really what we're looking for. If you are ever in a fire, the first thing that will actually kill you is obviously the smoke. So stay low to the ground, because the most oxygen is there. And if possible, put something in front of your mouth, like your shirt or something. Unless you want that extra crisp on your lungs, then be my guest. And of course, with fire, you know, close the doors, close the windows, blah blah blah, everybody knows. But if you want to know if there is actually fire on the other side of a door, don't just open the door. That is possibly the worst idea ever, because you're just gonna get sucked into a sea of flames, which I assume is not the nicest thing ever. So you want to feel on the door handle with the back of your hand, because metal, it actually sucks up all the heat. So if you feel the door handle and it is really warm, you do not open that door, unless you want to die, of course.
Underneath the barriers.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Well, the halo saved his life.
And when you're walking down the stairs, and also up actually, you should keep your hands out of your pockets, because it is actually sad. You don't want to know how many people actually die because they just fall from the stairs. And if you fall from the stairs, you know what you like to do? Catch yourself. You wouldn't like eating stone staircase, because that is not too well for your entire face. And finally, I looked into the most common death cause for young people like, I presume, you and I. And that is accidents, of which 75% traffic accidents. So you should watch out when in traffic, don't use your phone, and get lights when it's dark. Because you want to see people and people need to see you if you don't want to collide. And secondly is sadly suicide. So if you're ever with any thoughts, go talk to someone. It is probably the most important step and the most difficult step of all. Just let someone know. I wish you the best of luck in not dying. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider liking and subscribing, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.